and welcome. As I spoke last Saturday, I am finally giving you the recording that will refresh your memory and take you through the steps of how you, on your own Windows PC, can easily turn your Bible study PowerPoints into videos to be uploaded to YouTube and easily shared with the global community. As we spoke, this can be done for free if using Windows. All Windows PCs comes with an installation called Movie Maker, but if you don't have it, it's a free download and I'll show you how to get it. First, open your browser and go to Google and just type in Movie Maker to begin your search. You'll notice there are several things you can click on that say Movie Maker, but we're looking for the application created by Microsoft. And although other places may be able to give you the same free download, the safest and best bet is to go directly to the source. So I'm going to click on the link that shows me I'm going to Windows Microsoft.com's official site. Once I click on that link, I'm confirming that I am indeed at Microsoft's site, and I see here is the free download to install Movie Maker on the PC. You simply click on Download Now, and the download will begin to place the file in your Downloads folder on your PC. And now that that's done, because I'm using Google Chrome in Windows 8, I can simply right-click here and select Open, which will take me through the installation prompts. If you're not using this same configuration, you may need to go to the folder itself, double-click on the application, and then run as administrator or run to go ahead with the installation. Since it's already installed for me, I'm not going to install it again, but this is how you can get the application if it's not already available. Once you have the application installed, you just want to go ahead and launch it. Since I am using Windows 8.1, my start menu now looks like this. Depending on your version of Windows, this icon at the far left will either say Start or it will be the icon of Microsoft Office. I'm going to click here and I see my Movie Maker is right here. If you're using Windows 8 and it doesn't appear where you can easily see it, you'd want to click on this drop down to go to where all your applications are listed. Or find your search within your version of Windows and simply begin to type the name of the application for it to come up. Click on it once to launch. When Windows Movie Maker first launches, it'll launch in this view. Most items will be grayed out, and that's simply because you did not start creating your first video yet, and there's no data that would support use of these icons. Let's now go to our PowerPoint file so I can show you how to set that up so that it will be easy to create a video. For this demonstration, I'm pulling up one of my old PowerPoint files, but I'm only going to use 4 slides in the essence of time. If I were to play this slideshow now, I already have my animation embedded in the slideshow, as you can see. However, if I were to bring this as it stands into Movie Maker, Movie Maker is not going to be able to recognize the coding of PowerPoint. Movie Maker is just looking for images. That being said, I'm going to need to break this PowerPoint down into multiple slides so that I can have separate images so that when I go over to Movie Maker, I can give the appearance of movement. I'll show you what I mean. In this second slide, I have 4 bullet points. If I were to give a slideshow, I'd want each bullet point to come in only at the time I'm going to address it. In that case, I'll need 4 different slides to represent that movement. I'll simply right-click and duplicate
If you do
this
not want
slide
to
3
disrupt
times. Your original PowerPoint with this new configuration, I'll go back to the first instance of the slide
you can
now
save this
and
as a
delete
new
the
file,
unnecessary
but there's no
information.
need to save it
As a new file, I simply need to save it as graphics. When I go to the next
and then
slide,
close this out
I will
without
delete
saving.
the
But
information that I don't
if you
want to
feel you
appear
may make
as
an
yet.
error, sometimes it's best
And I
just
will
to have another
continue
copy
that
in
movement
case you have to come
until
back
it's
to edit.
done. In that manner, you don't have to go through the process you just went through.
Let's do the same thing with the
Copying the
next
slides
2
and removing
slides.
data, just because you notice now there's a single typo. To turn this PowerPoint file into image files, you'll simply select File, Save As. You'll tell PowerPoint where you want to save it. I'm going to save it to the desktop for now. And you will change the Save As type from a PowerPoint presentation to a JPEG image. I'm using JPEG specifically because that will keep the quality of the image, but the file size will remain relatively small as in comparison to a PNG file. Whatever the file name is, PowerPoint will create a folder with that same name, and inside the folder it will place as many images as you have slides. PowerPoint will ask you, do you want to convert all the slides to images or merely the one you had highlighted when you began this file save as process? For this, we'd like to select all slides. It's letting you know that each slide in your presentation has now been saved as a separate graphic file, and it's been placed where you told it to put it. For me, it's in my folder called Desktop, and the new name is Bible Study with the JPG extension. I'll say OK. For now, I can go ahead and close out of PowerPoint. I don't want to save this file. If I save it now, it's going to overwrite my original Bible study presentation, which I want to remain intact in case I need to utilize it in that format again. Now I need to first input whatever images I want to utilize to create my movie into Movie Maker. The images in this case are the individual slides from my PowerPoint. To do that, I can select Add Videos and Photos. It's going to ask me what do I want to add? Well, I know we saved it to the desktop, and the folder was called, you guessed it, Bible Study, July 9th, 2013. I'll double click on the folder and you'll see it saved each slide as its own graphic. I'm going to click on the first one, scroll down to the last one, hold down my Shift key, and click on the last one so that every slide is selected and say OK. Movie Maker knows to import the slides in the numerical order. Since they were named slide 1, 2, 3, etc., they're going to come in the perfect order you need for your movie to run smoothly. Now you'll notice that there's no transition between slides, but you have the ability to fix that easily, and I'll show you how. Just a quick note. By default, the timing of each slide is merely 7 seconds. In some instances, that's more than enough time that you'll need. In some instances, you're going to want to increase that time. That's okay. Let's take a look now at the various options you have to personalize your slideshow. let's click on Animation. Animation is the tab that allows you to tell Movie Maker how the slides are going to transition. In other words, how it's going to move from one slide to the next. You have several options available to you if you click on the More tab, as you saw I just did. If you hover your mouse over any one of them, it will show you a quick preview of what that transition will look like to give you an idea before you make your final selection. Let's go ahead and choose one. Select one, and I'll say Apply to All. You'll notice this little triangle is letting you know that a new transition has been applied to each slide. And when I go ahead and click Play and move forward, you'll see that transition in play. Again, by default, each slide is set to show for 7 seconds. Let's take a look at how we can increase or decrease the duration of each slide. If I click now on Edit, it shows me the duration for the slide presently highlighted. If I want to increase or decrease this duration, I can merely click on the drop down and change it or type in the box. For this slide, since it's a lot of text, let's change the duration to 10 seconds. If I wanted to make 10 seconds the universal time, I would merely click on my first slide, hold down my Shift key and click on the last slide to select them all, and set the duration for 10 seconds. Now each slide has a timing of 10 seconds. However, more than likely, you're going to want to individualize this process. As you play your slideshow to take a look, you'll get a feel for how long you want each slide to play. For instance, there's really no need for a title slide to last 10 seconds. It sounds like a short time, but let's take a look. Already, I feel I already understand what you're introducing, and there's no need for me to continue to be on that slide. So I would go ahead and take this title slide back down to 6 or 7 seconds. You get the gist. Let's look at a few other options available to us in Movie Maker. Another option available are visual effects. You can click here and change how any slide is going to look. You can make it blurry, you can put on an antique or an edge coating. I can change the brightness as well, and there's also more options available. The reality is these effects are probably something most applicable when using images only and not when using text-based information that you need the eye to see and see clearly. As you'll note, you can make room to add actual pictures in between these information slides that better emphasize the topic you're speaking about. Let's take a look at some other things Movie Maker will allow you to do. If I go back to the Home tab, you'll see you can add music to your presentation. If you click on the drop down, you can select the free music archive, which will take you to the internet to a site that allows you to download instrumental and or background music that is not copywritten and you are free to use without penalty. Or if you have your own music or voice pre-recorded on your computer, you could simply choose Add Music from PC. It's going to bring you back to your files where you would now go to where you should have music already stored. I'm just going to select this. I happen to know right now that this is a speaking track, highly inappropriate for this instance, but since I didn't pre-download an instrumental, I'll just go ahead and add that just for your information. You'll see that this track is long enough to extend for the entire duration of the slide. If I click play now, you're going to hear the track as it plays behind your slide. Let's go ahead and pause that for now. It's easy to delete music if you feel this does not quite, it's not the sound I'm looking for. I want to try a different track. That's fine. Just click on the music track, right click and say remove. Now everything else remains intact, but the audio has been removed. Let's take a look at other options that you're able to do. On the Home tab, you can add captions to your slideshow. Let's see how that works. I'm going to go here to slide number 3, and if I wanted to type in some text to re-emphasize a point that's not pre-printed on the slideshow, I'd click the caption option here. It's going to put a text box on my slide at the exact cursor position my mouse was. This is important for timing. Now I can go and type the text. Hey, this is very important. Now you'll notice what I just typed you can't see, and that's because by default the text came in white. But you have every opportunity, like in a word processing program, to change and reformat how that text appears. Let's take a look at how that works. If I highlight the text I just typed, number one, I'll see a typo. Let me quickly fix that. I can change the font. I can change the color. I can change the width of the text box so that everything will fit on one line. I can change the alignment if I wanted it to be left, center, or right. I can make it bold, italicized. I can even change the size. In this instance, bringing it up is going to put it on 2 lines because this type font is pretty huge. So let's go ahead and use a more easy to read font type. I'll go back to my personal favorite, Times Roman. You'll notice when we chose the colors, it appears as if the colors are very limited, but that's just the quick and easy colors it's giving you access to. If I click on more colors, I can now go and select any color that I want, or I can define a custom color where the sky is literally the limit and getting any shade or hue of a color that I desire. I can add the custom color to make it easy to use again for another slide. I can also change the transition of how that text via my caption transition effects. So I have a lot of options to make my slideshow really move. At your leisure, just play with the different options available to you. Let's take a look now how to quickly and easily save this in video format. The first thing you want to do is save it as a project. Saving it as a project does not allow anyone to view it as a video, but it allows you to come back and make changes as necessary. If you only save it as a video and never save it as a project, you'll need to start this process from the very beginning of importing your images if you later find there's a typo or you don't like the timing. So first I'll save it as a project. I'll just simply keep it as my movie. If you're going to do a lot of these, best practice for me is to create a new folder and call it Bible Studies or Movies or whatever the subject matter is. You be the judge. And now let's go ahead and save it as a video that others can see. To do that, I'll go back to the file and choose Publish Movie. There's several ways to do it here. If I do a publish, I'm saying that I want to publish it online. I know that because that globe is signifying that I'm speaking of the World Wide Internet. Options available for that are YouTube, OneDrive for me, which is my SkyDrive, Facebook, Flickr, Vimeo, and if you have other online social medias that you're involved of and you have allowed your PC to recognize you as, they may appear here. Also, you can just save it in movie format that you could later upload to any one of those. This is my preferred method. I can choose recommended for this project or high definition. As I spoke in class, we can go ahead and create our own custom one. Let's do that again. To do a custom, I'm going to scroll down to the very end of this list where it'll say create custom settings. I'm going to call this new setting high definition. I'm going to keep the frame rate of 29.97, which is a standard for high definition, that or 30 frames per second. I'll keep all of the other settings by default. The reason why I would even bother creating a new high definition setting is because I noticed the frames per second on theirs was 24, which is a little bit more reduced and does not necessarily translate as clearly in YouTube. In other words, when someone goes to blow up and look full screen at this slideshow, the text is slightly blurry. We don't want that. We always want the Word of God in our teaching to go forth as clearly as possible so that there's no room for error. Go ahead and click Save, and this is now saving not my video file, but a new setting that I can quickly and easily use going forward. Now let's save it in our new high definition setting in video. I'll go back to the file, Save Movie, and I'll select my new high definition setting. Again, it's going to ask me, where do I want to save? I want to save in the new folder I created. I created that under my Documents folder, and it was called Bible Study. Because I'm assuming I'm going to start creating several of these as the weeks and months go ahead, I'd like to store them all in one location for ease of reference. Let's go ahead and name it. I probably wouldn't keep it My Movie, but I would name it similar to my original file, Bible Study and the date, since I'll have more than one. You be the judge. For now, I'm simply going to keep it as My Movie. The Save As type, as MPG4, is a good file type to upload on many devices, including YouTube. Let's go ahead and click Save. You'll see the grand total of this movie is only 1 minute and 31 seconds, not long at all. Sometimes short and sweet is a good idea. You may want to even think of breaking your 1 hour Bible study down into smaller 15-minute increments that are more easily digestible for the global community. In that way, you can actually push out a video once a week with only doing the work of one Bible study. Let's go ahead now and play this video so you can take a look at what it looks like. By default, I have it launching in Windows Movie Player. Unfortunately, we didn't put sound behind the scenes on this one, and that's why you're not hearing any sound. But as you see, it's as simple as that. If I wanted to upload this video to YouTube, you have to first have a YouTube account. Let's take a look at what that process looks like. You'll notice when I go to Google, you'll see a minimized picture of myself, and that's because I have a Google account. If you have Gmail or any Google account, you automatically have access to all Google has to offer, YouTube being one of them. So I'm going to quickly go to my YouTube account. For me, I'm going to toggle because I do have two. I have one entitled YouTube and one, not YouTube, entitled my name, but I have another as just training for the kingdom. And for me, that's where I'd like to go ahead and upload this video to. I'm going to click on upload just to show you the process. It's going to say select a file to upload, and now I'm going to go back where I saved it, which is Documents, Bible Study, and you'll see My Movie. You don't want to upload the project. You want to upload the MP4 file. I'm going to change this setting to private. I'm doing that because I don't want this out there for the larger global community because this is simply a quick test, so it's not something I want to put out in public at this time. You'll notice when it comes in, it's bringing in the same title of whatever you called it when you saved the file. You can go ahead and change that at this time and say 1 John chapter 1 Bible Study, or whatever title you want to give it. This is just the title of my film. I can give a greater description down below. Tags are an easy way for people to find your particular Bible study video or whatever you uploaded. You would probably want to put your name down there because as people know you, etc., they may just search for something by your name. Case sensitivity is good just for appearances. However, for now, I'll skip that. You'll notice I just typed the word my name, and when I go ahead and hit enter, it's going to create one tab. If this was for your church, you would want to put your church's name there in its entirety, or however you felt people would search for it. I don't believe there's any limit on tags, so just put as many in there to help people find what you're talking about. As we spoke before, sometimes, of course, this is just far too vague and far too generic. So you would want to put something that speaks uniquely to what you're speaking about. You can give it a category. Unfortunately, for some reason, YouTube does not yet have a religious category. So you might put it under education, people and blogs. That choice would be yours. If I go to my advanced settings, I can now say what date the video was recorded on. I can allow the video statistics to be made public or not. You can just go ahead and take a look at these different options and read them for yourself. This video has now been saved, and if I click on my link, I'll see it is now already live here on YouTube. And that ends this quick video on how to easily and somewhat quickly turn your existing Bible study PowerPoints into videos that can be shared with the global community. Have any questions? You know how to reach me.